Here at Elite Heat, we've done a number of special episodes. We've done If WWE was a high school, which you guys really loved. We did If AEW was a high school, which you guys really liked. We even did If WWE wrestlers got real jobs. So in this video or podcast today, we're going to do one that's going above and beyond. We're going to tie in all of those into one big one, okay? You've seen the title. You're here today. We are doing If wrestlers were at a mall, if wrestling was a mall. You guys are going to see what we're going to do. It's going to be a bunch of fun. So, Kevin, I can't wait to do this. What about you?
It's safe to say that we've outdone ourselves with this one. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Let's just get right to it, bro. Let's
go. Do you want to start us off? We'll get going.
Yeah, I'll lay out some basic characters. You know, Vince McMahon is the mall owner. You have, then his family's in place. You have Shane McMahon. He runs the Apple store, the Tesla, some of the higher end stores. Triple H is the head of customer service. So whenever something goes down at the mall, Triple H is the first person that will, that'll be aware of it. Stephanie McMahon, she owns like a Macy's or a store like that, whatever it be in your country, just a store where they have like good clothing, makeup, a bunch of stuff. One of the main attractions.
So this McMahon family, they're obviously they're the board of directors, they're the executives for this mall. Okay, so one time, during whenever, you've got the McMahon family, Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, and then Shane McMahon, as well as Vince's wife Linda. They're all sitting around at a board meeting discussing this mall, discussing the financial direction of the mall, discussing quarterly earnings. You have Vince McMahon going, "Oh, damn it, Linda, what the hell do you think we should do to make more money, Linda? Linda, what the hell do you think we should do?" And then Linda responds with, "Oh, damn it, Linda, give me something. Damn it." So yeah, this is just a day in the life of the McMahon family running the mall. So if that's anything to go by, Kevin, you can tell this mall is a bit of a train wreck, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say. In this boardroom, you have Vince. He's screaming at Shane for ideas, and Shane is just like, "These customers, they love my stores. They are doing very well, Dad." And it's just, it's just a mess. Like Shane is not offering much. You can imagine everybody likes Shane. All the employees are hanging out with Shane. You've got Drew McIntyre, who's like the head of security.
Oh God.
So yeah, Drew McIntyre, he's gonna have like a pretty recurring role in this. He's the head of security, so anything that happens at the mall, best believe Drew McIntyre would be involved. And we also have AEW wrestlers too. They're gonna make an appearance. I'll throw that out there right now.
Yeah, we're not just WWE exclusive with this. This encompasses literally the world of wrestling. Okay, we're gonna get cameos from the whole wrestling world. This is gonna be very topical, very all over the place. As you say there, Kevin, Drew McIntyre is the head of mall security. Okay, Drew McIntyre, he runs mall security. He was given this position about a decade prior, but did a terrible job. He had to, he got fired. Then he, worked his way through at some crappy mall in another town. And now he's been rehired as mall security of this big mall, the biggest mall in the state. Drew McIntyre is the head of mall security. Other notable mall security guards who, work in that capacity but aren't, as big as Drew. You've got Wade Barrett. You've got Volta. You've got Timothy Thatcher, Killian Dane. You've got Riddick Moss. You've got Miro. It's a whole big mall security because, trust me, everyone, when you hear about all the different, ongoings at this mall, a security force like this is going to be needed, okay? Just take that from us. This is just wild.
Yeah, this is so all over the place. Nia Jax is the district manager. If some of you OGs will remember that she was the district manager of the Taco Bell in our If WWE Superstars Had Real Jobs video. So she's basically the district manager of the food court here. You got Baron Corbin, who is the day-to-day food court manager. He owns the Burger King. He's got some employees with him, Jackson Riker, Steve Cutler. It's just, this is really good. This is going all over the place. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know. What do you want to start with?
I think we'll start off with a certain, an Outback Steakhouse, Kevin.
Oh,
now,
God.
This mall has an Outback Steakhouse, as all good malls should. They should have some Australian representation in there somehow, Kevin. So this mall, the Outback Steakhouse, is owned by one Nathan Jones, the Colossus of Bugger Road. And from here, the steakhouse, look, Jones, he's off. He's like an international owner. He's like a majority shareholder. He's not really there. This Outback Steakhouse, the lead employee, the lead, like, the person who runs day-to-day operations is Rhea Ripley. Okay, Rhea Ripley, she does her whole welcome to Outback Steakhouse. My name's Rhea Ripley. I'm here to give you a great meal, okay? We're going to make some money here at Outback Steakhouse. So Rhea Ripley owns the steakhouse. And Kevin, walk us through the rest of the owners, then we'll get into a bit of a bit for Outback Steakhouse, pal.
The rest of the owners or the rest of the employees?
Oh, sorry, just the rest of the employees, or the rest of the Australians who are employees of the Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, so you have Buddy Murphy, Bronson Reed. They're kind of the waiters. Maybe Bronson Reed works at the bar, whatever. The Iconics, they're really funny. Like they're the cool bartenders that everybody wants to go see. They're just great to talk to, great people. Toni Storm is the waitress that everyone wants. She gets the big tips. It's all because of her waitressing skills. She's just so friendly. Such a great waitress, it has nothing to do with anything else. Nia Jax somehow works there too, even though she's a district manager. She's somehow there. She has a little job there. She comes in every now and then. She'll come in and randomly just yell at someone like Shane Thorne. Okay, Shane Thorne, this guy was like a waiter, but then Nia Jax, the district manager of the mall, came in one day and yelled at him and yelled about how ugly he looks. And then from then on, Shane Thorne had to wear a mask for the next 8 months. Okay, Shane Thorne had to change his name, change his identity, all because Nia Jax said he looked ugly. So, yeah, Shane Thorne works here. Brendan Vink, he made a cameo for 2 months as an employee here. Indy Hartwell. Okay, this is Australians aplenty, okay? Aussies are everywhere. Indy Hartwell is your favorite employee at this Outback, right?
Oh, hell yeah. So you got Australians everywhere. You've got Nathan Jones as the majority shareholder of this Outback Steakhouse. Then... Kevin, where do you begin with the bits for this steakhouse? God, you
got this American man who walks in and is like, oh, this is what the Outback is like. And he gets greeted by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley does her greeting, and then you want to do the greeting for the people, pal.
Hi, my name's Rhea Ripley. Welcome to our Outback Steakhouse. We're here to give you a great steak meal and give you the Aussie experience.
No, I want that girl to be my waitress, and then it points to Toni Storm. And
Toni Storm's just standing there, just nonchalantly going about her business. You got this American bloke being like, "I want her as my waitress," and Toni Storm's like, "Oh, okay, thanks for that."
And then this guy asks Toni Storm, "It's like, so how do you cook the bloomin' onion? Can you teach me? You're Australian, you must know how to cook the bloomin' onion."
Then Tony goes like, I can show you to the back room and we'll get our lead chef Bronson Reed to show you how to do that. And then Toni Storm takes this American dude to the back room. This American dude's getting all excited and Tony literally just shoves into Bronson Reed. And Bronson Reed's like, "Oi, hi, I'm Bronson Reed, I'm from South Australia. I love strong style cooking in the kitchen. Here's how you do the blooming onion." And you got Bronson Reed cooking this onion. This guy's like, "I thought I was going to be with Toni Storm." And then legit, Bronson Reed starts just punching this guy in the back room. My God.
It's too good. You have like Buddy Murphy. He's just so irrelevant at this restaurant. He's the waiter in the spot that nobody eats at. He's got all the tables that just is kind of empty.
He's got the back. Rhea Ripley is not a fan of Buddy Murphy. Rhea Ripley assigns Buddy Murphy to be the waiter for all the tables that never really get served for. So legit. You got these 1 or 2 customers who literally call Buddy Murphy the best kept secret. Oh, this waiter deserves better. This waiter should be pushed more. This waiter should get a pay rise. And legit, these people are on Twitter. They're on Instagram. They're on Reddit saying that this one waiter named Murphy should be better. Deserves better. These people are just crying out for Murphy to get a push, Kevin.
Yeah, exactly. Then you have this guy Dexter Loomis. He comes in. He always sits with in Indy Hartwell's section. He's constantly flirting with her, and then after just him coming in for weeks and weeks and weeks, she finally sits down with him after her shift, has dinner with him, and they just they hook up, and they become a couple, whatever. And it's it just becomes a mess. This Outback Steakhouse, it's
Yeah, legit. Rhea Ripley finishes yelling at Bronson Reed. She's like, "Oi, Bronson! Oi, Bronson, cook the steak, Bronson!" And she finishes yelling at him. Then she turns around and she literally sees Indy Hartwell and Dexter Loomis on some table. And she's like, "What? Oh, get out of my store! Get out of my..." She's freaking out. Rhea Ripley's just losing it. You've got literally Indy Hartwell disgracing the reputation of the Outback Steakhouse. The Outback Steakhouse has never looked at the same because of this Indy Hartwell Dexter Lumis incident in the middle of the steakhouse. Like, there's legit, it's like peak dinner hour on like a Friday night. Everyone's in the steakhouse, and then in the middle of it, you got Rhea Ripley yelling at Indy Hartwell. It's just this big scene. It's this big scandal. You've got Sami Zayn and Ali from BuzzFeed like actively reporting this, taking pictures, putting it on a blog, saying that, you know, Indy Hartwell, you know, is racially, you know, let down Australia. And then, you know, like Dexter Lumis is racist and all this kind of stuff online. Just, it's an absolute train wreck, Kevin.
Oh my God. It's too good. Yeah. Then, I mean, to pivot from that for a second, we got to talk about everybody's favorite, Baron Corbin. He works at the Burger King. He just, you know, he runs the day-to-day operations at the Burger King. He's just depressed, you know. And
well, but Kevin, he owns and runs the Burger King. That's like his, like, you know, one of his jobs. But his other job is being the food court manager. Now, there are plenty of outlets in the food court. We'll go into more specific detail. But yeah, the food court consists of like a kibachi restaurant. There's a different Japanese restaurant that's like a lead competitor. You've got like a Subway restaurant in there. You've got a McDonald's. Yeah, there's this big food court. There's a Taco Bell. There's a store run by Rey Mysterio. Like, there's this big food court. Baron Corbin is the all-encompassing food court manager, which he takes pride in. This is what keeps him awake at,
Right. Well, in the middle of this, you have, yes, there's a Taco Bell, but there's also this taco stand with authentic taco food, Mexican food, authentic tacos, that's owned by Rey Mysterio and Dominic. And they have this, like, morale set up. They have a picture of Eddie Guerrero hanging up. It's called Viva la Raza. It's just it's a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. It's this just a wonderful place to eat. It's so good quality food. It's very popular. People of all kinds go in there, you know. And then you have John Cena, who is the guy that... What is John Cena? He's like the...
So John Cena, basically, to sum up really quickly, like 15 years ago, when this mall was like, you know, not doing that great, he was working in like the the underground, like, kind of rap joint. He was like really popular. He worked his way up through the mall. He was like the face of the mall for like 10 years. Now, John Cena works as like he like oversees all malls in the state. He's like the district manager for every mall in the state. He's got this really high, encompassing position. He's like above Triple H as far as like the power rankings of like the mall. So yeah, Cena, one day makes a visit to this mall. Okay, he goes to the Taco Bell and like the store that's ran by Ray and Dominic. It's this really like passionate, wholesome like Mexican food joint. You've got as you say, Kevin, a picture of Eddie Guerrero there. Viva la Raza. It's this really nice, wholesome tribute. Cena pays it a visit. Go from here.
Yeah, he goes in there. He wants to try some of this food, and there's this big incident with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin just walks over. He's like, wait, John Cena's eating here. Oh my God, he's my boss, and he just like tries to take Ray and Dominic's thunder, and Ray's like, oh, orale, Holmes, I got this, man. This is what I do, Holmes. That I cook tacos every day, man. This is what I do. And Baron's like, no, shut up. I'm taking this. This is my boss. You don't understand me. This is my boss. And Ray's like, yeah, I know, John, man. We go way back, Holmes. Relax. And Baron Corbin just gets mad and starts beating up Ray and Dominic. He trashes like the kitchen. He starts cooking his own taco. He's eating his own taco. Like, he's just gone crazy. He's eating a taco in front of John Cena, and John Cena's like, oh, Cenation, we can't have this in my mall. There's no way this going down in my mall, Cenation. And he fires Baron Corbin. We have Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes out of nowhere. Drew McIntyre comes in there at his security.
Drew McIntyre. My name's Drew McIntyre from Mall Security. Baron Corbin, get out of this house. Get out. Get out. And he has this whole squad of Mall Security. They're carrying off this 6'8" Baron Corbin who's kicking and screaming. They're carrying him. They throw him into like the Mall Security truck and just escort him out of the state. Like,
it's too good. This is not the only incident that happens at the taco truck.
Oh dear God.
Well, fast forward like, I don't know, 6 months or so. And there's a lot of things that's going to happen in this timeline, but we'll start here. You got John Cena is again, he's like, all right, let's try this again, Sin Nation. And since he didn't get to try the Mexican food, he goes back there again to try it. And then like earlier in the day, JBL was in town because, he came to meet with Vince because he's like a financial investor and advisor to the McMahon family. So we got this meeting. JBL's like, so Vince, what are we talking about today, man?
Legit. JBL's yelling. You got Vince McMahon being like, oh, damn it, Bradshaw. I'm here today to discuss with you the financial way forward for our mall. Now, look, the quarterly earnings of this mall have been not the greatest. You've got this fast food store run by Triple H and Shawn Michaels, which is like a complete money pit. You've got people losing money out the wazoo. The mall's losing money, John. What do we do, Bradshaw? And then you got JBL.
You just gotta buy stocks, Vince. That's all you gotta do. Put your money in the stock market. That's how I got rich and famous, Vince.
Jesus. So they finished this meeting with JBL and Vince McMahon. It's like this executive board meeting to discuss the future of the finances in the mall. It's this big, wholesome meeting. JBL decides, he's just done the meeting. Now he's going to go have a feed. He's going to go to the food court. So JBL is wandering through the mall.
He's walking through the food court, and he just gets offended at the fact that there's this Mexican restaurant. He's like, what are these stupid Mexicans from the border doing here? They're taking up money from my people, my business model. And he's just, I work so hard to earn my money, and I'm paying taxes for these stupid Mexicans to earn money off of my money.
There's this like big line. So like Rey Mysterio's shop, the Mexican food store is like it's getting the most business of anything in the mall. You've got Triple H and Shawn Michaels' fast food restaurant. No one's going there. The Kibachi restaurant run by Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. No one's going there. Instead, you've got this whole line that's almost out the building for Rey Mysterio's Mexican food. Everyone wants to go there. And JBL sees this massive line for the Mexican food restaurant, and he loses it. JBL snaps. He's like yelling at everyone.
They got pictures up of Eddie Guerrero. I hate Eddie Guerrero. I once gave his mama a heart attack. And he just starts breaking up everything in the restaurant. He takes this picture of Eddie. They have this beautiful picture, and then he just throws it on the ground. He starts beating up Ray and Dominic. He just trashes the restaurant. And then John Cena's got to come back. We got John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Wade Barrett. They're all marching down to try to get JBL out of there. JBL's just going crazy. He's like taking all the food, just throwing it everywhere. It's like, it's just a mess in this mall. And he's just screaming the whole time, that's what you get. This is what we do.
Yeah, it's this whole big scene. Then you've got, meanwhile, Sami Zayn and Mustafa Ali from BuzzFeed, like, actively taking pictures, writing down about how, racially offensive this mall is, how this mall should be taken down, how the mall is sexist, misogynistic, racist. They've got pictures of, like, JBL, and they're writing BuzzFeed articles and vlogs. Like, this whole giant scene, like, literally this whole time, you've got Drew McIntyre, the head of mall security, being like, John Bradshaw Layfield, is that you? That's a disgrace, what you're doing that's a disgrace. You have to kick Rey Mysterio because he's Mexican, you're racist. Get out of me, mall. Get out. He's literally carrying out JBL. Like, it's just this giant scene, Kevin.
Yeah, we got a drunk JBL who was hanging out at the bar. He's hanging out at the bar with Sheamus getting drunk, and now, he's getting kicked out after destroying the taco stand. It's amazing.
Jesus Christ. And then, Kevin, I think, like, one set of people who, your channel's synonymous with is The Miz and John Morrison. Now, Kevin, do you want to walk us through who are The Miz and John Morrison in this mall? What do they get up to? What should we expect when it comes to Mike Mizanin and John Morrison in this mall capacity?
So you got John Morrison. John Morrison works at like the massage stand. Like most malls have this where they have like massage chairs and they have a little stand where people get massages. They're usually free, but they work on tips. So John Morrison's there like in like a muscle shirt and some nice shoes. He's got his hair all looking good. And just like he's giving the massages. And he's got all these women, like just middle-aged women, mothers, basically MILFs. He's giving massages to MILFs for free, working on tips. They're like grabbing his bicep. He's got like one of the longest lines in the mall. He's there like all night giving massages. And then like right next door, you've got The Miz. The Miz works in like in a nail salon. Maurice owns this nail salon that The Miz works at. You got, Maurice is the manager. She's constantly screaming at The Miz, like, you did, Mike, look what you did. You did that. You did her nails wrong, Mike. And she's had it. You got his mother-in-law, his father, his mom, they all work at this salon. And, Maurice is always snapping at them. The Miz, he's trimming nails. He's doing eyebrows. He's painting nails, whatever. And then, he meets Maurice. That's how they met. Maurice was like, before she owned the store, Maurice came in as a customer one day and they got to flirting. He was like, oh, you have big boobs. And then like 6 years later, they end up married and now she owns the store because, The Miz is that kind of guy. You all know the word. And yeah, the Miz, he has these aspirations to be a movie, to be like a movie star. He's always talking to the customers about how like one day he's gonna be like Robert De Niro, or he's gonna be like Chris Hemsworth or something. He's gonna be this big action movie star, and just nobody cares. He's just boring people. He's got this name tag that says, "Hi, I'm Mike," and yeah, he works at this. Yeah, I mean, it's the Miz, the Miz, and then John Morrison obviously is more popular than him, and he's jealous. He's like, all these women. They want to hang out with Morrison. But meanwhile, when the women come into the store, they ask for Maurice or Maurice's mom or the Miz's mom. Like nobody really they like the Miz is the guy that like when it's busy and people don't have a choice, they get stuck with the Miz. And they got to listen to him rant about how one day he's going to be the next Chris Hemsworth.
So you've got that, and then right up the store from there, you've got the Foot Locker. Now the Foot Locker. Who's the Foot Locker ran by, Kevin?
Oh, bro, you know who it is, bro. It's Vinny Roo. Good old Vince Russo, bro. I own the Foot Locker, bro. This is my store. I sell the sneakers, bro. Okay, bro? So,
and then one day, you have a certain guy, the original bro, okay? Hey, bro, my name's Riddle, bro. I'm here at the Foot Locker, bro. What? Hey, Vince, can I get some sneakers, bro?
Bro, I gotta be honest with you, bro. Your eyes, they look kind of red. I don't know what you're doing, bro, but I don't know if I support that, bro.
Well, bro, I'm just here to give you some business, bro. I just want some sneakers, bro. Surely you can do that, bro.
Look, bro, I'm a good Christian man. I do not partake in the devil's lettuce, bro. We are not going to have that anywhere up in my store, bro. I'm about to call Stephanie McMahon, and she's going to throw you out of this store. You understand me, bro?
Hey, bro. Bro, no need for that, bro. Bro, I'm just here, bro, to get the latest pair of Jordans, bro. Okay? I got fashion sense, bro. Bro,
look, I gotta call Stephanie, bro. And that's it, bro. We're gonna get you out of here, bro. And then, Stephanie comes in, starts screaming at Riddle. She's out of her mind that somebody would come into the mall high. And keep in mind, Riddle works at the mall. Riddle works in the fitness store. He shows off, the scooters, the bikes. He does demos. He's just riding around on his scooter, asking people if they need help at the fitness store. So Stephanie's yelling at him, "Oh, you're high. Oh, you're high, Matt." Well, I can't even do Stephanie, but she's just yelling.
This whole time, Stephanie's like screaming at Matt Riddle. You've got Sami Zayn and Mustafa Ali actively like filming this. You've got Ali like filming a video of this, putting it on Twitter. Quote tweeting hashtag cancel Riddle, cancel the mall. You've got literally Ali spamming this hashtag to try and get the mall canceled, to try and get negative attention on the mall. You've got this whole big drama. Stephanie McMahon is screaming in this Foot Locker. Meanwhile, fellow Foot Locker employees, the Street Profits and Bianca Belair, they're just trying to serve customers. They're doing good business. Everyone likes the Street Profits and Bianca Belair. They're doing good sales. Bianca Belair especially. She's like the biggest employee of the month as far as the mall. She's getting in all this kind of attention. Meanwhile, Stephanie McMahon is legitimately screaming at Matt Riddle. Half the mall's like, what is happening in that Foot Locker store? And then you have Vince Russo. Like you hear Vince Russo being like, telling them to get out of the store.
Bro, there's nothing to see here, bro. Street Profits and Bianca, you guys are doing great. This has nothing to do with you, bro. You guys take the rest of the day off. You understand me? It's this jackass over here. Matt Riddle is causing all of this, bro. And then you got Drew McIntyre. Drew is like trying to restore order. Him and Wade.
Yeah, more security shows up. My name's Drew McIntyre. Matt Riddle, get the hell out of the Foot Locker. Get the hell out. You're doing this more to bad reputation. Okay, get out. And then he proceeds to turn around and he sends Volta and Wade Barrett on Matt Riddle. These guys beat the crap out of Riddle and drag him away. Meanwhile, this whole time you got Sami Zayn recording this, and he uploads the full video to BuzzFeed. Just terrible.
Oh, it's too good. Yeah. So now back to our old buddies, the Miz and Morrison. We got to check in on what they're doing. So one day, Miz and Morrison, they're working this 15-hour shift. You've got Maurice and Taya Valkyrie. They're gonna stay and clean up their respective stores. So they're going over to the nightclub where we have Bad Bunny, who's hanging out in VIP with Damian Priest.
But who runs the nightclub? I'll quickly walk this through. So the nightclub is owned by Bobby Lashley, MVP, and like the Hurt Business. Okay, the Hurt Business own the nightclub. Okay, like they're the cool guys who own the nightclub. Bobby Lashley is like the bouncer at the nightclub. He's the humongous jack dude who's like 4 times your size, who stands at the door being like, ID. And then you have to, you're shaking, like you're literally shaking as you give him the ID. He's like, that's scary. MVP is sitting in some penthouse in like somewhere in the state, counting all the money he's making in this nightclub. This nightclub is making bank. You got Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander working at like the bar, and like Cedric Alexander's like, mopping the floor from all the vomit at the nightclub. And then from there, I mean, walk us through from here. That's the nightclub. Walk us through, Kevin.
Yeah, good. I got a little ahead of myself there, pal. So you got, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest. They're there. Damian Priest is, Bad Bunny's there to do a performance. They're hanging out in VIP. They have Ric Flair, Snoop Dogg, Steph Curry. Like, there's just a ton of celebrities hanging out with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Bunch of women, and here come the Miz and Morrison. They try to get into VIP. The Miz is like, oh, I'm the Miz. I'm awesome. And Bobby Lashley's just like, nope, get out of there. Get out of VIP. Go back to the regular line. So they're just waiting for Bad Bunny to perform. They're in the middle of the performance. Now you got Bad Bunny's out there doing his thing, getting the crowd lit. Snoop Dogg's, smoking up with Steph Curry and all the other celebrities. And then the Miz just like, he's like, screw it. I got nothing to lose. I'm gonna get my TMZ moment. He hops on the stage with Bad Bunny. Damian Priest comes up there. Bad Bunny and Damian Priest start beating up the Miz and John Morrison. They're just getting destroyed. You got Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre comes in and he's like, what is going on here, guys? You go, do your McIntyre.
Drew freaks. I was like, wait, Drew McIntyre. Miz, get out of the mosh pit. Get out. You're good for nothing, Liz. It's sucking crap. He's like, you got Drew like picking up Miz and like flinging him across the nightclub. Miz, who's like in his underwear at this point, he goes sliding across the night floor through like a pile of like spew. Okay, Miz is like, he's covered in like vomit. He's all disgusting. He's like crying. It's like 1:30 a.m. at the nightclub. You got Snoop Dogg being like, he's like laughing at Miz.
Yeah, you got Steph Curry. You got Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley like takes off. The Miz got this nice suit on. He's got these Jordans, nice $5,000 watch. Bobby Lashley takes his shoes, his watch, takes his suit, just leaves Miz there in his underwear, and they're just hanging out in the back alley. And then you see Miz and Morrison, and then they see Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy like doing drugs back there.
Yeah, legit. Like after Bobby Lashley, takes Miz's like all his valuables, because he's a smart bouncer. Lashley, takes Miz's like Miz is like literally he's out on the street. It's like 1:38 a.m. the dude's got like nothing. His wife's like about to abandon him. He can barely afford to get to his job. And then literally Miz is like on the street. He's like laid out. He's just fallen over on the side of the road. And then he like crawls. He's crawling along this pavement. He crawls and he peeks his head into this dark alley. And all he sees at 1:41 a.m. in the morning, it's Darby Allin with Jeff Hardy. He can smell. He smells this stuff. He thinks to himself, "Why do I do this?"
Yeah, exactly. Then the next day, Miz shows up for work, and he sees Bad Bunny and Damian Priest. Miz and Morrison show up for work the next day. He sees Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, so they have their wives. They're taking their wives into the club VIP. They're going to the movie theater. He's just like, oh man, I lost everything. Lost my shoes, my watch, my wife. The Miz is down bad, pal.
That's shocking. That really is shocking. Now I think we'll get through a couple of little ones. So I think Sasha Banks. We'll mention Sasha Banks. She owns the Gucci store. There's real like high-end clothing. Sasha Banks, she owns Gucci. She got a bunch of employees, like Carmella's worked at Gucci. You have women like that. They serve the top of the range clothes. Anything else about Gucci, Kevin?
No, nothing really. It's not really there about Gucci. No, I mean you have like Asuka. She has 2 jobs at the mall. One of her jobs is also working at Gucci, and she's like this top tier salesman or saleswoman, I should say.
Yep.
Sasha Banks, she owns the store. She's the boss, pal.
Yep, she's the boss. She's the boss. Also, Kevin, what about this one? Now, there's a certain jewelry store at the mall. Would you like to
Yes.
would you like to walk the loyal Elite Heat listeners through the jewelry store, because quite the scandal goes on at the jewelry store now, Kevin, doesn't it?
Yes. You have this jewelry store that Ric Flair in the 80s he put his whole life savings into this jewelry store, and he's made it what it is. It's probably the nicest jewelry store in the area in the state, in the surrounding states. Like, people from other states drive to this jewelry store. You have rappers come in there, like, you have like the Migos, Snoop Dogg.
Bad Bunny's always in this store. You've got literally every big artist, like Justin Bieber's visited this store. This is legit. Like, this is the place to be. Like, of all stores in the mall, the Flair jewelry drip store, this is where it's at. This store, they sell the most high-end watches, pure like diamond watches. You've got like bling, you've got drip. Like, this is where like the billionaire artists go. So
yeah, you got the rappers. They get those ridiculous chains, and then Charlotte Flair is now the owner of the store, obviously, because Ric Flair, he's just counting his money, hanging out at VIP, blowing it on bottles and women. So you got Charlotte, who runs the day-to-day operation of this store. I mean, she's an okay owner. She's not the best, but she's not bad. She's literally just there because it's her dad's store. And Lacey Evans also works at this store. So you have Lacey Evans, who's like the lead salesperson. Charlotte is, the manager. You got Lacey, you have some other people that work there, whoever may be. But, but
legit. I'll jump in here. So real quick, one day, Ric Flair hasn't really, been to this store in like a couple months. Ric Flair's off, doing what you've mentioned there. Ric Flair's off just sitting at home counting money, basically. Ric Flair decides, I'm going to visit the store. I'm going to check on the day-to-day operations. I'm going to run an in-store assessment. Okay, so Ric Flair, he does his like...
what that means is he's going to check out the lovely ladies that Charlotte has hired.
That too.
And one of those ladies is none other than Lacey Evans. So he's doing his thing. Lacey and Charlotte, they go to this like VIP room where like, the celebrities go to get to hang out because they hang out with Rick. They go to this VIP room and Charlotte doesn't think anything of it. She's too busy focusing on the day-to-day operations, making sales, whatnot. And then like,
Charlotte has to go and leave. She has to go attend to some customers. She doesn't really want to be there. She's like, Dad, Rick, I've got to go just make sure, Charlotte's all worried about like the success of the business. Lacey stays in VIP with Ric Flair.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks later, Lacey Evans is like, just so you know, some things came up. I might be pregnant, might need some time off. And Charlotte just freaks out, and there's this big scandal throughout the mall that Ric Flair came in and got Lacey Evans pregnant. It's just like people are just going crazy. You got the BuzzFeed crew, you got Daniel Bryan, Mustafa Ali, Sami Zayn. You literally got Ali's goes like notepad. He's writing down about the sexism of this jewelry store. How they, Ric Flair's like, misogynistic. How they don't, they objectify women. You got Sami Zayn like interviewing Ric Flair, being like, "Do you misidentify and objectify women? Explain yourself right now, or else I'll cancel you on Twitter." So you've legit got this full like BuzzFeed investigation. Ric Flair couldn't care less. He's just doing his woos. He's like flexing on everyone with his jewelry. Meanwhile, Lacey Evans is literally 2 weeks pregnant. Charlotte Flair is going to depression. She wants to quit her job and just never come back to this mall because her father and Lacey Evans are going to be like parents to a kid. Like, there's this humongous just scandal, Kevin. Yeah. It's insane. It's like this woman that's like, maybe a couple years younger than Charlotte is about to be her mother. She's just having a terrible life. She's hanging out at the bar. She's hanging out at the bar that Becky Lynch is the bartender at, and Sheamus owns the bar. She's frequenting this bar. Her and Becky, they become really good friends.
Legit, let's try and explain this. So, with the bar, Kevin mentions it there, Sheamus and Becky. This bar is like another hotspot in the mall, okay? Of all the places in the mall where people go, the bar is pretty common as far as one of them. So this bar is run by Sheamus, okay? Sheamus has run the bar. Jeff Hardy has historically tried to sneak into the bar at all costs, and Sheamus yells, "You're a junkie, Jeff! You're a junkie!" and kicks him out. So that's the bar. Sheamus runs it. He hires Becky Lynch because Sheamus wants to keep it topical. You have to have red hair to work at the bar. That's all good. Then we have people like Bailey. Okay, Bailey, who used to be, working at the game store, the Undisputed Era. Bailey used to be happy-go-lucky, working at the sports store. Now she's had like a midlife crisis. She's sitting depressed at the bar. You got Becky Lynch serving her alcohol. Then, you go on with this, Kevin. Go on.
Yeah, Charlotte's in there like every other night, and she's chopping up with Becky. She's getting along really well. And then, there's this big incident that happens one day at the bar. You have none other than Chris Jericho. He has a band, and he's performing in the basement of this bar. So you got, Charlotte's like, oh, what's that? I could use some fun. So Charlotte, Bailey, whoever else at the bar. You got Darby Allin, who's always at the corner of the bar, drunk, passed out. They all go down. They rush down to go see Jericho and his band. And they go down there, and they're like, oh, my God, nobody's wearing masks at this concert. So they go back up. They go run over. They go get Sami Zayn and Mustafa Ali, and they're just freaking out. And they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe nobody's here wearing masks." They get Stephanie. Stephanie just she stops the whole concert. She's screaming at Chris Jericho, just having a fit. She's telling people to go home. There's this huge scandal. Chris Jericho's like this underground rock band, this heavy metal band. Nobody's wearing masks. It's just this massive scandal. It's unbelievable. This wall is full of scandals, pal. We got more coming up, but this is another.
Oh yeah, But legit. Also with this BuzzFeed crew with Ali and Sami Zayn and whatnot, these are guys who they get around the mall on like eco-friendly hoverboards. They don't want to threaten the environment, but they're so much better than everyone else that they don't want to really walk or do anything like that.
Yeah.
So they travel around the mall, going from scandal to scandal, literally on like hoverboards, which are like environmentally friendly. They try and flex to random customers that they have 5-star energy efficiency rating hoverboards and that they're better than everyone else. So like they proceed to rush down to this basement of the bar scandal where, as you explained it beautifully there, Kevin, you've got Stephanie McMahon screaming at Chris Jericho. There's no one there is wearing a mask. You got Drew McIntyre shows up being like, Chris Jericho, where are the masks in this bar? What are you doing, Chris? What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to throw you out. I'm sick of you, Chris. Like, you got this big, humongous scandal in the basement. Jericho, he's shamed. He's literally, he becomes just unemployed as far as, a gig at the basement. Like, it's just a mess, Kevin. It really is.
It's a massive scandal. And then, you have this other scandal involving Jericho because, so Stone Cold Steve Austin, he owns, like, the fancy steakhouse. Like, they have this, 5-star upscale steakhouse restaurant.
The good steakhouse, not the Australian one with Rhea Ripley, which is like low rate. Nathan Jones is like the majority owner. Not that one. This is the like legit restaurant, like the steakhouse and bar. That's like the lead restaurant in the mall. Okay, This is like the restaurant that everyone wants to go to. Everyone knows Steve Austin. It's like the biggest restaurant chain. Kevin, take us from here.
Yeah, it's like $100 a plate steakhouse. It's like $20 for a broken skull IPA, whatever. And it like Stone Cold's hardly ever there. He's off doing whatever. But there's this one day where there's this I wouldn't say an incident, but Stone Cold is just there. He happens to be there. And of course, only WWE employees are allowed to eat at this restaurant. This is a Vince McMahon owned restaurant, and he's made it certain that only WWE employees eat there, and then of course any patrons, but no AEW employees are allowed to eat at this restaurant. So then one day, Chris Jericho shows up, and everybody's, like, freaking out. There's this big, like, you got people just rushing over to the restaurant. They're like, oh, my God, Chris Jericho's eating at this restaurant that Stone Cold owns. And then Stone Cold, you think Stone Cold's going to kick him out, but no, Stone Cold actually just sits down, grabs a beer, and the two of them hang out, reminisce, and they're talking about old days, having a steak. Everybody's watching, everybody's filming it. Like, you've got people just going absolutely berserk. Like, oh my God, I can't believe Chris Jericho broke the forbidden door. Chris Jericho kicked down the forbidden door. He's eating at the WWE Steakhouse. And it's another incident. You got Stephanie McMahon screaming at Stone Cold. Stone Cold's like, I don't give a damn. What? I don't give a damn. Go to hell, Stephanie. Just, Stephanie's screaming at him. It's a big mess.
Jesus Christ. Legit, you got Chris Jericho. Picture this, everyone. You've got Chris Jericho. He's the only, like, he's like the only AEW guy in this whole like restaurant. He's sitting in like the middle on some table by himself, just chilling. This is literally after he's just been kicked out of his gig from mall security and whatnot. He's sitting there just eating his steak, going about his business. Everyone's just looking at him. Then Austin Theory walks over, and Austin Theory goes, "You're not from WWE." And then Jericho's like. Jericho's just staring at him. Jericho's like, wow, I can't believe they make humans as dumb as you. And then Austin Theory's like, I'm off to the gym. And Austin Theory just like struts out. Everyone's just looking at Austin Theory like, that might be the dumbest person I've ever seen. So Austin Theory struts out, And then you proceed to have Steve Austin. Austin sees this, and he goes, "What? What's going on here? What?" And then Austin, walks out there drinking a beer, and he goes, "Oh, it's Chris Jericho!" Oh, and then they start, chatting. And then this is where Stephanie McMahon bashes a door in. She, is screaming. You got Triple H, who's rushed in from his fast food shop. Triple H is rushed in. He's trying to hold back Stephanie. Triple H is like, "Ooh, Stephanie, ooh, calm down, ooh." And Stephanie's just screaming at Jericho, like, "How dare you!" And she's just losing it. Austin's like, "What?" And Stephanie's just screaming. Austin's like, "What?" And there's this whole scene. You've got Ali and Sami Zayn once again taking photographs, writing down. You've got Sami Zayn with a little laptop, writing down the story, just writing about the life and times of this mall. It's just, Kevin, this is one of the biggest scandals in the history of this mall. Okay?
It's so big, but literally all there was another guy eating a steak that was employed by the other company that partially owns the mall or whatever.
And it broke Twitter for a day. Yeah. And then legit. And then some random person on the outside of the world makes a YouTube video about it and gets 20,000 views just discussing this little incident. It's legit. It's absolutely classic. This is getting mainstream attention for a day or two. As you say, there's not real much reason for it. It's just, oh, well, this guy named Jericho ate at a steakhouse with Austin. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So speaking of, wow, well, I think we should talk about Michael Cole. Michael Cole has a certain role at a bookstore, Kevin. Now walk me through the bookstore, Kevin.
He works at the bookstore there. The bookstore there, John. The Barnes & Noble basic bookstore. It's owned by Keith Lee and Mia Yim. And, there's a lot of stuff that happens at this bookstore. Let's just say.
God.
There's a lot that goes down at this bookstore. But, we'll start with Michael Cole. So, Michael Cole is just an employee at this bookstore. And he's the guy, because, you have Keith Lee and Mia Yim. They're busy doing office work, whatever day-to-day operation stuff. Michael Cole is basically the employee that's in charge of all the sales, doing the cashiering, stuff like that, because it's not a very busy store. But when people do walk in, Michael Cole greets them, "Hey, how you doing there? How can I help you?" And then somebody was like, "Oh, can I get this book? Do you have this Game of Thrones book? I want to read it." And Michael Cole's like, "All right, I'll walk you through there." And he starts just going over to he walks the people to the section, and then the guy's like, "Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Michael, that's your name." And he's like, "Well, let me tell you a little something about that book." And he just keeps going on and on and on talking about this book, and people are trying to walk away from him, and he just keeps going like, "Oh, if you like that kind of book, you like this book. If you like that genre, you like this book." And people just avoid going to the store because they don't want to run into Michael Cole. The only time the store gets busy is when Michael Cole is off, basically.
Or when there's a book signing. The store gets pretty busy then. But first off, with Michael Cole, this guy, he does the walk you through thing as you explained. This guy legit, he always plugs the Barnes & Noble app when he's in there. Like he's explaining to someone about a book. He's like, "Oh well, you can find out more about the great history of Shakespeare on the Barnes & Noble app, which is only $9.99 on any Android and Apple device there, John. It's $9.99 for the Barnes & Noble app there, John." So yeah, Michael Cole, he plugs the Barnes & Noble app a lot. One day, everyone's favorite Austin Theory walks into the Barnes & Noble. Okay, Austin Theory, who as is has the reading ability of about a fourth grader, or if that, maybe a second grader. Austin Theory walks in and goes up to Keith Lee, the owner of the bookstore, and goes, "Hey Keith, give me a book to read." And then Keith Lee's like, he's like, "Well, which book would you like to read?" I'm very across many genres of literature. And then Austin Theory goes, and then legit, there's this whole big deal. And then Austin Theory proceeds to grab a book and he starts just ripping out pages. And then from here, of course, more security's on it like that. Drew McIntyre rushes up with his squad of security and they're just beating up Austin Theory in the bookstore. Legit, you get Drew McIntyre throwing Austin Theory through some bookcase. And legit, Austin Theory's like, "All I wanted was a book." As he's literally being punched. You've got Volta doing Volta chops. You can hear this all around the mall. You've got Ali and his hoverboard just rushing up to the bookstore because you can hear someone getting chopped and you can hear a scandal. So Ali and Sami Zayn rush up to this bookstore. Meanwhile, Austin Theory is being held against a bookcase, getting chopped. He's dying, and this is all because he just asked someone about what book she read. So it's this whole big scandal in the mall. This takes place. Eventually, Drew McIntyre and mall security throw Austin Theory out. Then Kevin.
Then the next day. Let's get
the next day. There's a book signing the next day. Walk us through that.
So you have Vince McMahon. You got Vince, Stephanie, Linda, Shane, Triple H. They're having this. I'll paint a picture. They're having this little meeting. They're like, oh, I need something to sell out the bookstore. We got to get people in the bookstore. We got to drive business. And Triple H is like, oh, Dad, why don't we have Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan do a book signing? And then, Vince's like, oh, damn it, that's good. That'll get customers. That'll drive traffic, pal. So then, we have this book signing where it gets announced that Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil are going to have a book signing. But then the catch is they're going to have a book signing together at the Barnes & Noble at the same time. We're going to have Hulk Hogan. He's going to be, his autobiography. Titus O'Neil, his self-help, how to be a great dad. All his many books because, Titus worldwide. In another life, Titus is like a world-renowned, speaker, motivational speaker, great parent. He's got all these great best-selling books. And there's just, the store is sold out because they're going to get to meet the Hulkster. They're going to get to meet Titus O'Neil. And you take it from here, bro.
So legit, you get to this big book signing day. You've got the McMahon family. They're all proud. Vince is like, he's got his big suit on. He's so excited about Hulk Hogan appearing at this bookstore. The guy who built this mall from the ground up, made this mall a success, made this mall what it is today. Vince is so proud that Hogan's there. You've got Triple H in a suit. Stephanie's in her pantsuit. You've got Linda there, not saying anything. You've got Shane. Shane's taking his time out of his day to go from Tesla and Apple to appear at this book signing. It's this humongous book signing, Kevin. Okay, you have Stephanie McMahon announcing, and I present to you Titus O'Neil, and all these people are like, yeah, Titus, we love you, Titus, you're amazing. And then from here we get, and now I present Hulk Hogan, and then there's literally a bunch of booing from these SJWs. Okay, there's this whole SJW rage. Okay, Ali, Sami Zayn, they're at the front with their pitchforks and torches, being like, "You're racist! We hate you! We get our boo, boo!" Like they're just booing Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan walks up and he's just literally, he rips his top off. He's like, brother, Mean Gene. Like Hogan's like yelling, and legit you've got Ali being like, boo. It's just, there's this whole big deal, Kevin. Like, I mean, walk me through the rest of this book signing. What else goes down?
Yeah, your guy Austin Theory comes back. And he's just like, he's walking in with his, he's got his Hulk Hogan headband on, his Hulk Hogan muscle shirt. He's got his WWF Championship belt. And he's just like, oh my God, I'm going to meet my favorite wrestler. I'm going to meet Hulk Hogan. He goes up to meet Hulk, and everybody's just disgusted at the fact that this guy walked in with all this Hogan merchandise on a championship belt. Hogan goes to shake the guy's hand. He shakes Hogan's hand, and then it just gets crazy. Like, everybody starts freaking out, and then that's it. Austin Theory gets thrown out again by Drew McIntyre at security.
Yeah, legit. You've got Austin Theory walks up there wearing his Hulkamania shirt. He's got his headband. He's got the Hogan hair. He's got a Hogan beard drawn on. He's got literally Hogan tights, Hogan boots. He's literally holding a Hogan flag, saying I love the Hulkster. Theory walks up there holding that, and then from here Hogan's like, oh brother, it's great to see you're a fan of Hulkamania, brother. Let me tell you something, pal. Hogan's so proud of this. Meanwhile, legit, you got Ali, Sami Zayn, a bunch of these SJWs throwing legitimate trash at Austin Theory and Hulk Hogan. They hate them. It's this whole scene. Stephanie McMahon calls mall security. Mall security, once again, Drew McIntyre shows up, beats up Austin Theory for the third day in a row, throws him out, and it's another day in the life of Austin Theory, I guess.
Yes, sir. Hold up.
Jesus.
Hold on, I gotta step away. I'll be back 2 seconds, bro.
Yeah, so legit. Then moving on with this. I mean, there's so many things to go through. Legit. I think one place I'll go to, which this could be a bit of fun, Team Taz. Okay, Team Taz, everyone's favorite. They own a supplement store. Okay, Team Taz own the supplement store. So you've got Taz, who works at the front desk of this supplement store. Okay, Taz is all up and about. He's so happy about his job. He's selling people their, protein supplements. He's selling people their creatine. Taz is like the face of the supplement store. So that's legit Taz. Brian Cage acts as like the demonstration. Brian Cage is like here's what you can look like if you have to take supplements. Here's what you can look like if you work out and take these supplements that Taz is going to sell you. So you've got Brian Cage legit flexing. Brian Cage spends most of the day just posing. He's shirtless. He's wearing a G-string at this supplement store. He's posing, He's, his veins are popping out all day. It's not good for his health. Meanwhile, you've got Will Hobbs in the back room, carrying trays of these boxes of creatine, carrying them around the back room, doing manual labor. Will Hobbs, that's just what he does. Okay, Will Hobbs, he's carrying all this stuff. And meanwhile, Ricky Starks, the other member of Team Taz, well, there's another guy, but yeah, Ricky Starks, legit, this guy is giving everyone lectures about creatine. Ricky Starks is this know-it-all. He knows everything about creatine. He knows everything about protein powder. He knows everything about lifting big. Ricky Starks knows it all, pal. So, yeah, Ricky Starks is giving people lectures. Random customers walk in, Kevin, Random customers walk in, and they're like, can I get some supplements that would make me big? And then Ricky Starks gives them a 20-minute long lecture about, creatine, what it does to your muscle fibers, the real chemistry behind creatine, the added benefits and superlatives of creatine. Ricky Starks is just this big know-it-all. He's fat-shaming people. Ricky Starks, who's got he's got his necklace on, he's got his chain, he's got his glasses. He knows everything about the science of creatine. He's fat-shaming these random people. You got this 300-pound whale walks into the supplement store, and Ricky Starks is like, "Oh, you've had a few too many cheeseburgers, haven't you?" And then this customer just leaves, and then Taz is scolding him for losing a customer. Legit, it's this whole big deal in the supplement store, Kevin. It's just an absolute mess.
Yeah, you got a mess at the supplement store. I mean, you have Taz, who's when people call the store to find out information, Taz answers the phone just screaming, "Oh, brother, I'll tell you something. Oh, I got the best creatine in the whole state, brother." We
can reenact this. So legit, you've got this random customer being like, ring, 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 ring. Excuse me, is this Taz's supplements?
Yeah, it is, brother. What's up?
Oh well, I'm looking for a bit. I'm looking for something that would make me big. Do you sell supplements?
Look, listen here, brother. I got my man Brian Cage. I got my supplements made my man Brian Cage so big, brother. I don't have time for this. Either you come to the store and you spend some money, brother. We got to keep on going.
Oh, okay, bye. And literally, you get Taz, scaring off all the customers. Brian Cage, as I said, Brian Cage is legit in a G-string, flexing and posing. And as I just said before, Taz is pointing at Brian Cage, and literally some 7-year-old kid walks in and is like, "Do you sell dumbbells?" And then Taz, you do a Taz here,
brother, do I look like I got I forgot what you even said. Dumbbells?
Yeah, dumbbell. And then legit you go, Taz is like, "This is my machine, Brian Cage." And then Brian Cage is flexing. His face is, beetroot red, veins popping out of his neck. He's legit in a G-string. He's flexing so hard. Meanwhile, Will Hobbs walks in with his tray of creatine and then gives this kid a thing of creatine. And the kid's just like, and he just leaves. This is legit Team Taz's supplement store. It's just, you've got Ali and Sami Zayn trying to cancel this store from the day it was opened. Just a debacle. Stephanie McMahon hates this store. Stephanie McMahon hates the fact that they're objectifying Brian Cage for his body. Just, it's a mess.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, yeah. I know the supplement store over here is just over here in the AEW side. It's crazy. It really
also,
is.
Also legit, this supplement store, a lot of the people who go to a certain facility, which I'll talk about in a moment, use the supplement store. So next door to the supplement store, you've got Samoa Joe and Sonya Deville. They own an MMA training facility, a mixed martial arts. It's a hybrid of a gym, but they run specialist MMA classes. A lot of the people who go to this place use the supplements from Taz's store next door. They pump themselves up with creatine and then go into the MMA training facility and try and square up to Samoa Joe. One of these guys was Tyson Kidd.
Oh God.
Tyson Kidd infamously one day tried to square up to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe broke his neck for real, and Tyson Kidd's never recovered from it. Tyson Kidd has never been the same. Samoa Joe was as in the words of our great tribal chief Roman Reigns, "Why are you going to play games with me?" Samoa Joe just destroyed him. So, yeah, that's the MMA training facility, Kevin. Anything else about that?
Yeah, Samoa Joe done stacked him up, pal. How Roman would say. But yeah, this is just crazy. And then you have the sports store. Right? Well, yes, we got this bit at the sports store, which is a good one. So,
oh God,
I'll paint the picture of the sports store. Finn Balor is the top employee. He helps people try on running shoes. He makes sure that people get the right shoes for their feet, for running trails, outdoors, whatever. He helps you find jerseys, hats, whatever you need. Ricochet works on the treadmill. He's like this crazy hyped up guy on just pre-workout. Whenever somebody asks to demo the treadmill, he gets on the treadmill. He starts running like, just ridiculous speeds. He's like just going full on, like he's training for a marathon, running like, oh look, this is what we do. This is how the treadmill works. You push this button, this button, this button, and people are just like, all right, dude, I don't care. Then you have Tucker, who just like Finn Balor goes up to Tucker. He gets the jerseys that are too high to reach. Then you have Humberto Carrillo, who's just like depressed. He works at the register. Finn Balor brings people their, he's like, oh, these are the shoes. These are the right shoes. Humberto's going to take care of you. Okay, mate. Talk to you later. And then Humberto's just like, oh, okay, guys. That's going to be $150. All right, have a good day. He's always just down in the dumps. So that's the sports store. A lot of stuff going on there. Then one day you have Stephen Curry.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh, God. I mean, you said the name there. One day, another scandal. Because what would this mall be without scandal, drama, and storylines, Kevin? So legit... One day, Stephen Curry, the Stephen Wardell Curry, so inspirational. Curry walks into the store. He's doing a special autograph signing. This is like the biggest get for the sports store. The sports store, it hasn't done the greatest of business. Getting Steph Curry to an autograph signing is like the biggest deal for them. Ricochet, he spends the whole time trying to impress Steph Curry. You got Ricochet like running 25 miles an hour on some treadmill. You got Ricochet doing like cartwheels and handstands and trying to impress Steph Curry. Curry couldn't care less. So literally, Curry does his autograph signing. He's signing autographs to all these kids wearing Curry jerseys. The mall's doing big business. You got Vince McMahon, standing watching this, thinking, "Oh, damn it, pal! This is what we need, pal. This is money. This is money, pal." Like, Vince is just watching Curry. The lineup is like wrapped around the building. And legit, this is all going on. Then this guy named Cameron Grimes proceeds to get to the front of the line, goes, "Hey, Stephen! Hey, Steph!" And then Curry's like, "Hey, man, what do you want?" And then Grimes is like threatening Steph Curry. And then click of the fingers, Kevin, as we've been doing all this podcast, Drew McIntyre shows up and goes, "My name's Drew McIntyre. Cameron Grimes, get the hell away from Stephen Curry. Stop threatening the VIP guest." And then we proceed to get Drew McIntyre dragging Cameron Grimes by his neck, literally flinging him off the main great stage, beating him up, in the change rooms, and then dragging him out and tossing him out of the mall.
Yeah, legit. Cameron Grimes is like he works for JBL's investment company. He's this big protege. JBL taught him everything he knows about the stock market. Now Cameron Grimes, this big guy with money, he thinks he can do whatever he wants. He's threatening Stephen Curry. It's just a ridiculous scene. You have Steph Curry, who's like Cameron Grimes comes within inches of getting his hands on Steph Curry just as Drew McIntyre comes in to save the day. It's crazy. Like, Steph Curry's never coming back to this mall again. He's never coming back to the nightclub to hang out with Ric Flair and MVP. It's over. They just lost Steph Curry. Like you said, Drew McIntyre is beating up Cameron Grimes. Vince is losing his mind. Vince has a vein popping out. You got Stephanie screaming. Stephanie's yelling at the manager of the store. She's yelling at Finn Balor, like, "How can you let this happen in your store?" And Finn Balor's just like, "I don't know. It happened. What can I do?" She's screaming. Triple H is, "Ooh, Steph, you called me up here for this. I gotta go back to my sandwich store." So
yeah, and legit on BuzzFeed for the next week, they're just advertising OMG, an exclusive interview with Cameron Grimes, and then you get the interview with Ali and Cameron Grimes, and it's legit Ali going, "Cameron, do you misidentify people who identify as demisexual?" And then Cameron Grimes is like, "I got 9 figures in my bank account." That's legit the interview. And it's like, "Cameron, we need to be serious for a second. Do you seriously think mansplaining is okay?" And Cameron Grimes is just no selling these questions. You got Ali being like, "Are you objectifying people who identify as androgynous?" You got this whole big interview, and legit Cameron Grimes is just, no selling the questions. Ali's getting, raging. As you say with Vince, Ali's got, a vein popping out of his neck. He's irate because Cameron Grimes doesn't take his questions seriously. Okay, Ali just snaps and just starts, screaming at Cameron Grimes. "How dare you, you race, you misogynist." And Ali just storms out. And that's legit the BuzzFeed interview with Cameron Grimes, pal.
Yes, sir. All right, so I'll do some lesser... We don't have any storylines for these. We'll just go through some characters real quick. So you have Roman Reigns and the Usos. They work at like the streetwear store where you can get like Supreme clothing, Yeezys, the coolest Jordans. You know, it's a very cool store. It was like one of the, you know, back in the day, like 20, 30 years ago, it was like the store that did all the business before they had Gucci and they had all these other stores. This was the A store at the mall. And then now you have, you know, Roman Reigns is in charge. Business is doing okay. It's picking back up. But then Roman takes this long leave of absence, this medical leave of absence. He comes back like 6-8 months later. And now the store is just booming again. The store next to him is owned by Paul Heyman. It's a suit store. And then the store goes out of business once Roman Reigns' store is booming and doing all this work. So pretty much they merge the stores. Paul Heyman brings his suits, sells them out of this streetwear store. You got Paul Heyman there. Pretty simple there. Then you have, you know, Alexa Bliss. She has this dance school that's inside of the mall. Does really big business. Whether or not they come to learn dancing, that's up for you to decide. Then you have Bray Wyatt. He owns a Halloween store. Oh God, you know, Alexa Bliss goes. I'll just let you can say. You should say this one. It's probably more suited.
Oh God,
more appropriate than you do.
I'm just thinking of this bit because legit, yeah. I mean, as you say, Alexa Bliss owns like that store, which gets pretty good business, and as you say, it gets business purely because of, you know, what's being sold, not for Alexa Bliss. So yeah, she runs the dance and cheerleading show. That draws big business. Bray Wyatt, okay, Bray Wyatt's Halloween goods store. Business-wise, it does really well in Q4. Outside of that, the store doesn't really do well. It's inconsistent. You've got Vince McMahon cutting funding every now and then. Like Vince will like invest in this store because he sees stuff in it, and then randomly he'll just cut all funding, and then Bray Wyatt will be screwed. And everyone will say that Bray Wyatt's being buried. You'll have people in blogs saying that Bray Wyatt's being held down and his store deserves better, and it's disgusting what they're doing with Bray Wyatt. That's the kind of stuff that happens with this store. So eventually, after one day of work, Alexa Bliss walks into this Bray Wyatt some Halloween goods store to just, you know, maybe buy something, check out the store, whatever. Alexa Bliss walks in, and then she's never the same. Okay, Alexa Bliss, she walks out of the store spitting black goo. She's like into voodoo. She's wearing some like tiara that vomits black blood. Like, she's never the same. Alexa Bliss becomes Twisted Bliss, okay? Alexa Bliss undergoes a transformation as soon as she walks into the store of Bray Wyatt, okay? Bray Wyatt, whatever happens in this store, it makes Alexa Bliss undergo a transformation. It's just absolutely insane, Kevin.
Yes. And then you have a hunting store in the mall that's owned by Brock Lesnar. You know, you get your rifles, you get your camo outfits, stuff like that. It's owned by Brock Lesnar. Braun Strowman is the day-to-day manager. He's the only employee there. It's not a super busy store. Every now and then, Brock Lesnar would come in and just, you know, he just yells and he just, you know, puts down Braun. He's like, oh, the sales aren't so good, screaming at Braun. And then one day, Braun gets smart with him, tries to yell back at him, and Brock just beats him up in the store. You have Braun Strowman there with black eyes, swollen face. You know, he's trying to help people. You got to do a Braun Strowman impression. He's trying to help people with black eyes and a swollen face.
Legit Braun Strowman, like Brock comes in to, similar how Ric Flair did with the jewelry store before. Brock comes in to like, you know, have a look at how his store's going. And Brock Lesnar's like ripping apart Braun Strowman, like roasting him, talking about how terrible he is. And Braun Strowman literally responds like going, and then Brock's just staring at him like, bruh. And then Brock proceeds to deliver like shoot knee strikes to Braun Strowman's face, gives him like a black eye. Braun's like bleeding. And then legit, the store gets closed down for months because of this, because Brock just snapped and beat up his like only employee. Like,
oh my God. And then, you know, you have Jinder Mahal. He works at like the WWE side of the supplement store. He works there, and he's just like, it's a really bad store. Like, hardly anybody ever goes in there. Like, occasionally you get some passerbyers that are like, oh, I see this store. Okay, I'll go check it out. And Jinder's like, oh, you're too fat to walk in here. You just starts like just belittling people as they walk in. Nobody ever likes to go to the store. He's obnoxious. You know, you get the drift.
Yeah, and you got then Edge. Okay, Edge is like, it's this really successful. He owns like a betting agency. Okay, Edge, he's the ultimate opportunist. He knows exactly what to bet on. This is a guy who's grown up his whole life studying sports and studying gambling. He gets pretty much every bet right. He's the guy who like does a multi, and it's like a 28-leg multi. He puts $10 in, makes like $40,000 like casually. Everyone's like, how? And Edge is like, I'm good at this. Why can't you be as good as I am? Okay, Edge is just damn good at what he does. So that's Edge. This one I want to do next, Kevin. Okay, the sports store. We talked about the sports store with Finn Balor and like the Curry autograph signing. We talked about that, but there's another sports store in the store, Kevin. Okay, there's another sports store. This one is run by Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes, he decides because he couldn't really make it as like the lead employee of one sports store. He decides to set up his own sports store in the mall, just like across. So Cody Rhodes, he owns this sports store. Brandy Rhodes, she's like a lead employee. Eventually, Cody Rhodes, he falls into a slump. The sports store's not doing the best business. Cody Rhodes.
There's way more resources and money into this sports store. I should let that be known. Like the other sports store, the WWE one, they have, baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, hats, some stuff. This sports jersey, though, you can get memorabilia. You can get, like, autographed baseballs, autographed basketballs, game-worn jerseys. It's just, there's a lot of money being put into this store.
Yep, you've got legit... So you got, in the store, QT Marshall. He greets you at the door. You got Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, shows you around the store. He's like he knows everything about everything. Everyone loves Dustin Rhodes. He's, like, the best employee there. Brandy Rhodes, because Cody... fell into a depression because of how badly his store was doing. Cody he went away from his own store. And Brandy Rhodes, despite being pregnant, had to run day-to-day operations at the store. There's this big controversy. Then, one day, they get Anthony Ogogo in because the WWE store can get Steph Curry in for an autograph signing. The AEW store, the best they can do is Anthony Ogogo. So Anthony Ogogo comes in to give boxing tutorials. So you get these, 9-year-old kids just watching because they think this is Anthony Joshua doing a boxing demonstration. Instead, it's Anthony Ogogo. So legit, the kid's like, "That's not Anthony Joshua." And then the guy's like, "I'm Anthony Ogogo." And so from here, Anthony Ogogo proceeds to do a tutorial in the store. He gets some kid's parent and showcases a right hook. So Anthony Ogogo does a legit full power right hook to some parent's gut. This guy's hospitalized. Legit, the full scandal. His parents vomiting. The kids are crying. Cody Rhodes is nowhere to be found. You got Brandy Rhodes crying. You got QT Marshall just standing there. You got Stephanie McMahon screaming. It's this humongous scandal. Ogogo clubbed some parent in the gut, and that literally ended their life.
Yeah, you have Tony Khan, who's the founder. He's the investor into the store. He pretty much is the secret owner. He's there because it's a big event. And he's just clapping. He has no idea what's going on. He's just too busy, admiring all the memorabilia, telling Cody how great of a store it is. Meanwhile, there's just this guy, this 35-year-old man is being carried off to the hospital by Drew McIntyre. And you have Wade Barrett and Walter tackling Anthony Ogogo. Wade Barrett sends his cronies on him. And then you got Tony Khan just walking around with Cody wow, you got a Cal Ripken baseball? Wow, you have a Steph Curry basketball? You have a LeBron James signed basketball? Wow, great job,
Cody. Tony Khan. Tony Khan's legit. He's sitting in the corner where all the baseball cards are. He's trying to find which ones he doesn't have in his collection. He's got 1992 premium limited edition baseball cards, and Tony Khan's looking to see if this store has any cards he doesn't have. Meanwhile, literally behind him, as you say, you got Anthony Ogogo being arrested for assault. You got police rocking up to the store. You got.
Yeah, Vince McMahon's blowing a gasket. Vince and Stephanie are they're screaming at the top of their lungs. Oh.
You got these kids, 9 kids crying, the kid whose dad's been brutally injured. That this kid's inconsolable.
And Tony Khan's just looking for his baseball cards and telling Cody how great of a job he's doing, getting a Shaquille O'Neal game worn jersey. That's Tony Khan. It's so good. It's great.
Yeah. And so legit, what about the other Tony Khan venture in the mall? What about the shop, the food store owners? What about that, Kevin?
All right, so Tony Khan, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, they own a fancy hibachi restaurant inside of the mall. Very, does really good business. It's one of the more popular restaurants. It's up there with Stone Cold's and with the Outback and, what have you, Rey Mysterio's taco stand. And it just does really good business. You have, Michael Nakazawa. Michael Nakazawa's out there handing out samples. He's got this over-the-top chef suit on. And he's just hey, you want to try my steak? I got steak today. And everybody's just taking all these samples. Very good business. Business is thriving. Kenny Omega, he only hires Joshi waitresses. It's all just Joshi waitresses. You've got you got Kenny. He's one of the top hibachi chefs. The Young Bucks, they're the head waiters. They do
legit. Kenny Omega has this big reputation as he was the greatest chef in Japan. The meals, the hibachi he made in Japan was some of the best ever. People, reviewers like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez would give Kenny Omega's hibachi 7 stars. just because it took place and it was made in some Japanese restaurant. Then he comes to the United States. He's like the lead chef. He finds himself working as like the lead chef in this random store in Baron Corbin's food court, because that's how this works. So Kenny Omega's making his like hibachi. He's making his Japanese food. You got Dave Meltzer. This is the only store he visits. Dave Meltzer walks through the food court. Baron Corbin will take a whole burger and chuck it at Dave Meltzer in the food court. Like there's this big drama. You've got literally a whole food fight. Dave Meltzer walks past Baron Corbin's Taco Bell and makes some sly comment. Then Baron Corbin proceeds to throw like a brick at Dave Meltzer. Like it's just this big scandal. But nonetheless, Kevin, just
this
hibachi restaurant.
Yeah, this hibachi restaurant is doing really good. And then next door, you have this world-renowned sandwich shop. Like at one point, like 4 or 5 years ago, they had the best sandwiches in the country. People would come, like you'd have like TV shows would come to film here at this restaurant. You know, like diners, drive-ins, whatever. Guy Fieri would film his show. It's just like this world-renowned sandwich place. And then, you know, you got Shawn Michaels, Triple H, they run it. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are two of the top employees. You have other guys that are trainees. You know, you have like Ricochet used to work there before he went on to the sports store. Guys like that. Aleister Black works there. It's a really high-end spot. They used to get 5-star ratings on Google and Yelp back in the day. Now, after the Japanese restaurant moved in, it kind of took their thunder a little bit. The sandwich shop lost sight of what was important. They stopped making really good sandwiches, and they were just focusing on profit and business. So then the quality of food went down. You know, Triple H was like, ooh, we're not doing big numbers anymore, Dad. And Vince is just screaming, you know, put more resources into it. We're gonna do more marketing, more advertising. So yeah, then now they're just getting 3-star reviews, 3.5-star reviews, and it's not the same anymore. But yeah, you have, you know, Shawn Michaels takes this place real serious. He runs the day-to-day operations. He's always like yelling at Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. They're like his little cronies. They're trained just the way he wants them to be trained. They do everything the way he wants them to do it. And yeah, it's a pretty big mess. No scandals or anything, but that's like the NXT, if you will, pal.
Yep. So there's legit that. There's like the NXT, you know, sandwich place, and then, you know, all you hear from there is people complaining that, oh my god, this hibachi restaurant's just trying to one-up us, and then there's this big, you know, controversy with them. Then from there, WWE proceed to open up their own Japanese restaurant to try and compete with the hibachi restaurant. So legit, you've got like Shinsuke Nakamura is this disgruntled head chef who's hardly trying anymore. He's just going through the motions. Like, wow.
Yeah, he hates to be there. You know, you have Nakamura who's like, he shows up, he cooks a pretty good steak. You know, he does his job. He cooks, and then it's like, oh, okay, on to the next one. You know, Akira Tozawa, he's the waiter. You have Asuka, she's greeting people at the door. That's her second job. Her primary job is working at the Gucci store with Sasha Banks, being a top salesperson. But in her free time, she's just greeting people at the door. Io Shirai works there. Io Shirai, she's one of the chefs. She's like, you know, the second best chef, or the second to the head chef, sorry. But she makes the best food in the whole mall. She, like, people come to, when Io Shirai's working the main shift, they come to have her food because it's just the best food in the mall. And then Kushida, he's a chef too. He makes good food, but people say it's great just because it's Kushida, and he has this reputation of being a good chef at other restaurants in Japan. He hasn't really done anything to earn this reputation at WWE's Japanese restaurant. But, you know, people are just like, it's Kushida. I love it. You know, oh, that steak was good. It's Kushida. And then Io Shirai, you know, great food, what have you. But yeah, it's just ironic. WWE's like, oh, I see the success. Triple H was like, ooh, the success that Japanese restaurant's having. We should open up our own, Dad. So Vince just pours just millions of dollars into this Japanese restaurant. They forget all about the sub shop. You know, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are just jealous. Triple H and Shawn Michaels start spending all their time at this Japanese restaurant. You know, one day Nakamura is just not trying, and Triple H just comes in and starts screaming at Nakamura at the top of his lungs. Ooh, you need to try harder. Ooh, you know, and like people are complaining. You know, people are complaining to the manager, whoever the manager is at this restaurant. They're complaining. Nia Jax, whatever, she's the manager of some of the restaurants. They're complaining to Nia Jax. Nia Jax is like, she goes to Triple H. Triple H starts screaming at Nakamura, telling him that he needs to try harder, you know, and just people are just upset. You have, you know, your BuzzFeed crew, Sami Zayn, Mustafa Ali, they're there. They can't believe that Triple H is yelling at this Asian American man.
Yeah, they do an interview with Shinsuke Nakamura. They're like, you know, Ali's like, So Shinsuke, I know it must have been a traumatic experience having such a racially intense encounter with a white man like Triple H, but walk me through what it's like to be yelled at by a white heterosexual male. And they did this full interview. Nakamura is speaking fluent Japanese, and Ali's just writing everything down. Like, this is legit the WWE Japanese restaurant scandal, Kevin. It's one of many scandals. We've been over a lot of them in this mall situation. My God, so legit. That's a Japanese restaurant.
There's one scandal that I'm really happy to talk. I want to talk about this one. Go on. My favorite wrestler, Randy Orton, he owns the Hot Topic, and Pete Dunne is there. Whatever, you got Pete Dunne is just the guy that's like, oh hey, I'm Pete. I'm gonna help you find some clothes. Find whatever you need. If you have any questions, you talk to me. Randy Orton's like the cashier, the manager. He doesn't try. He's barely like ever paying attention. He always brings his girlfriend into work, and they're standing behind the counter. He's talking to his girlfriend. He's so uninterested in checking people out. He's just rude. He's just like, oh, that'll be $20. Give me your money. And then he's paying no attention. And then one day you have this massive incident at the mall where Pete Dunne shows up like 10 minutes late. So Randy Orton has to do everything for the first 10 minutes because Pete Dunne is late. Pete Dunne shows up. Randy Orton just goes crazy, snaps. He has like an angry moment. He kicks Pete Dunne in the face. He's like, he does his signature punt kick, beats him up.
Yep.
Drew McIntyre comes in. Of course, Drew McIntyre, because you got Stephanie screaming for Drew McIntyre. Then you take it from here.
Yeah, so legit, as you say, Pete Dunne comes in 10 minutes late. Randy Orton is screaming at him. Randy Orton literally punt kicks Pete Dunne, takes a dump in his bag. It's this big scandal. Stephanie McMahon, who's literally, she runs like CCTV at the mall. She's always across what's happening in every store. So she's screaming on the walkie-talkie for Drew. She's like screaming. Drew's like, Randy, get away from Pete Dunne. Get away from him, Randy. And then literally McIntyre Claymore kicks Orton in the middle of this store. It's this complete scandal. You've got Ali and Zayn trying to peer in and get a quick glimpse, because they're trying to see through the Hot Topic like mannequin to try and see what Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre are getting up to. So legit, Drew McIntyre, carts Randy Orton out. Like you get the whole mall security, Timothy Thatcher, Volta, Wade Barrett, Miro. They all literally, like 8 of them are like dragging Randy Orton out to like the car park. And then, of course, this is the second day where Cena's making an appearance. So Cena, this old head of state, like mall, entrepreneur, Cena, gets in the car park, being like, I see you, Randy Orton, Nation. Give me money, Nation. And he's like, Randy Orton, I used to be your enemy, Nation. Now, you're still my enemy, Nation. Don't like you, Randy Orton. And then Randy Orton's like, hello, John. Hello. And then Drew McIntyre's like, oh, don't you dare speak to me, boss, like that. And then Drew McIntyre hits a big Claymore kick to Randy Orton. Randy Orton goes stumbling and falls into an ambulance. And then the ambulance just speeds off into the next state. And Randy Orton gets deported. That's legit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's this big scene. You have Randy Orton in handcuffs. You got Walter and Wade Barrett. They got Orton in handcuffs. And he's screaming at John Cena, spitting on John Cena. John Cena's like, oh, that's not nice, Nation. You spit on my brand new Jordan, Nation. And then Drew McIntyre kicks him while he's handcuffed, and they just throw him into an ambulance. Bye-bye, Randy Orton, Mel. There goes Randy Orton, Michael. The greatest of all time.
Meanwhile, you got, the Miz is off in the distance with, feeling, he's legit slumped against a pole. He's got, he's got his boxes on, and that's it. And the Miz is watching on just I hate my life. What is this?
Let's go to the movie theater. So you got this movie theater that Mustafa Ali owns. Like when he's not doing BuzzFeed stuff and trying to cancel people on social media, he owns this movie theater. And he has Dolph Ziggler who works there. Dolph Ziggler is the guy that sells tickets. He's got he's got this visor on with his ponytail coming around it. He's flirting with all these girls. He's like, hey, what movie you guys seeing? What are you doing, ladies? What are you doing after the movie? We can hang out, whatever. Trying to get people's numbers and stuff.
You watch the movie, you can pull this off. Pull some. You got Ziggler just being absolutely cringe, trying to hit on anyone going into the movie. Well, not anyone, but most people, going into the movies. Ziggler's trying to be all cool. He's, as you say, he's got the ponytail and his man bun that's sticking out the back of his cap. He's just so obnoxious. Austin Theory works there as well. He makes the odd appearance. He barely shows up to work. And legit, Ali wants to fire him any day, but Stephanie McMahon won't allow it because they need to have diversity in the theater. And then you've got Robert Roode Robert Roode's just incompetent. He's busy making popcorn. He never gives people enough popcorn. Like some 8-year-old kid's like, hello, can I please have a large popcorn? And then Robert Roode gives him like a small popcorn. And then as soon as the kid's mum starts to complain, Ali goes, how dare you try and misgender my employee? Get out of my store right now, or else I will get you reported to the state police. Like, Ali freaks out. And then the mother's like, I'll follow up with this. There's this big scene. Stephanie McMahon's like, I'm so sorry about this. Like, Stephanie McMahon's all involved. Just
yeah, she's screaming at Ali, like, oh, you can't do this. You can't treat customers like this, Ali, damn it. You know? And then you have R-Truth works there too. R-Truth works at the concession stand. He's like the nicest guy. He gives kids like free popcorn, free candy. He's like just the coolest guy you ever want to run into at the movie theater. You're lucky if you get him instead of Bobby Roode. You have Daniel Bryan, who owns the Starbucks. Of course, you know, Daniel Bryan is a Starbucks owner. It's like a franchise. He comes in dressed like he does on WWE TV with his flannel shirt, you know, khaki pants, his beanie. Then you have Drew Gulak. It's like little Daniel Bryan works there. Sami Zayn works there part-time. He's part-time oh god, he's part-time at the Starbucks. And then he's also, when he's not working at the Starbucks, he protests at this gas station. And, you know, the gas station is owned by Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley owns this random gas station next to the mall. It's like super expensive gas. You know, they have like you know, it's a nice little rest stop. People get their gas, they go in, get a smoothie, get a you know, soda, whatever you need. When people walk in, they see Sami Zayn, he's screaming about some social issues. You know, he's stopping people, talking to them about what happened in Africa where this tiger got mistreated at a zoo. And he's just going on and on for like 2 hours with people. He's got a group of people there. You know, it's like, it's a scene, it's from like a movie. You got people with picket fences chanting with Sami Zayn. It's just this it's like a near riot at this gas station. And Jon Moxley owns this gas station. You know, who else works at the gas station with Moxley? You know, who else? Oh god,
I mean, who would work at a gas station? I mean, like the Hybrid 2, Jack Evans, you know, Angelico, they're just like working out the back of the gas station, like, you know, carrying bags of like, you know, ice into like the freezer, and you've got literally like Jack Evans slips over and does like a 850-degree moonsault and then lands on his feet and he's like, hey, who saw that? And then no one saw it because no one cares. Legit, just, yeah, the gas station, pal.
Yeah, you got Eddie Kingston works there. He's like the guy that, they have this in some states in the United States where they, like some gas stations will you go to, and they're like people that it's their job to pump the gas for you, so you just stay in your car. So that's Eddie Kingston. You know, cool stuff goes on at the gas station. Oh, like, you want to talk about the tanning salon?
Oh, do I want to talk about the tanning salon? My god. So legit, you have a tanning salon that's ran and owned by Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. That's like their thing. They're like the entrepreneurs who like run the tanning salon. You got Britt Baker who works there, and conveniently the tanning salon is pretty close to the like the gaming store, which we'll talk about in a minute. Legit, Britt Baker works there. Then you get Adam Cole ahead of his big takeover match against Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole goes up to this tanning salon, goes, "Can I please have my back and leg tanned?" And nothing else. So Adam Cole gets his tan job done by Britt Baker, and then all of a sudden they all of a sudden get married. And it's this big deal. Adam Cole, like, his leg is like has spray tan on it. His knee pad, like where his knee pad is, doesn't. It's a mess.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's a whole mess. Like he's constantly sneaking over there. Like he just runs out from GameStop, runs next door. He goes and like you know, he smacks Britt Baker's butt, goes makes out with her. You know, then you have like Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. They hate when he comes in there and they're just obnoxious. He's just so obnoxious. They don't like him. You know, and then I guess we should talk about the GameStop. So Adam Cole.
No, actually, no. First, should we talk about Victoria's Secret? Because this is like one of the last big bits we have. Victoria's Secret. Wow. So this Victoria's Secret is owned by Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion Kross. They're like the monopoly, like majority owners. They kind of own the place. Natalya gets appointed as the manager of the Victoria's Secret. Kevin, you go on from here.
Yeah, you got Natalya. She's the manager because she's like pretty much the very serious worker. She cares a lot. Like you have guys that go in there to buy stuff for their wives or their girlfriends that are kind of nervous. They don't really go into Victoria's Secret. They feel uncomfortable. Natalya walks up to them. She's very professional, offers to help them. You know, and then you have Liv Morgan works there. Carmella, Lana. Liv Morgan and Lana, you can imagine a lot of people would go in there just to see them, you know. Then one day you have Corey Graves is shopping in the Victoria's Secret, Corey Graves shopping at the Victoria's Secret with his wife, and his wife is like, "Oh, I'm gonna go try this on, go try this bra on for you, whatever, Corey." And Corey Graves sees Carmella, he just starts hitting on Carmella, and then his wife catches him flirting with Carmella, and then they break up. There's this big scene. She's just like, she can't believe that Corey Graves would do this while she's right there. Corey Graves and Carmella end up getting together. Corey Graves, by the way, he owns a tattoo tattoo store inside the mall. He's like the only guy that works there. Maybe we'll have CM Punk make a cameo, pal. Who knows? CM Punk can work at the tattoo. But yeah, so then there's this other incident that you should talk about. This one.
Okay, there's a couple. So first off, I think one thing I want to talk about really quickly, you mentioned like guys awkwardly come in there not knowing what to do. One of them is Oney Lorcan. Okay, Oney Lorcan is served by Scarlett, and he's like, look, I don't know what to buy for my wife. I don't know what to do. The whole time he's eyeing off Scarlett. Karrion Kross sees this, and then literally the next thing you know, Karrion Kross just grabs Oney Lorcan and just flings him out of the store in one clean motion. Oney Lorcan goes sliding across the mall floor. So I mean that happens.
Yeah, because Scarlett's wearing like one of the bras only. She's just like showing off her body, inviting people to look, and then Karrion Kross just gets mad that Oney Lorcan does this. Oney Lorcan gets carried out by Drew McIntyre, of course.
Yep, and then we have a little bit with Dave Meltzer. Kevin, do you want to?
Yes. So, oh god. So yeah, for those of you who've never been to a Victoria's Secret, they have like posters of Victoria's Secret models on the outside of the store, showing off models in the bra and panties, the bikinis, the Victoria's Secret sells, the different clothing. So you have Dave Meltzer one day shopping at the mall. He's got his little, his Chinese food that he got from Kenny Omega's restaurant. He's eating, he's looking, and he's just like, he's walking with Brian Alvarez, and they're judging these women based on like, their looks, their body, whatever. And then you have this, this whole massive incident now because Dave Meltzer's being misogynistic. You have Charlotte Flair, who also works at or not Charlotte, it doesn't work there, but Charlotte Flair overhears this. She comes in, she puts Meltzer in her place. She's screaming at Dave Meltzer, just like, how dare you objectify women?
She legit pushes Meltzer down an escalator.
Yeah, Peyton Royce is like, oh, I thought you learned. You could do better, Peyton Royce, than I could. But, they're screaming at Dave Meltzer. Then Jerry Lawler gets in trouble too. On top of this, Jerry Lawler, he's an OG of the mall. He owns like a little barbecue place in the mall, good, nice restaurant. He's just getting away from the mall. He's walking by the Victoria's Secret. He notices somebody. Like he goes up and hits on Liv Morgan, and Liv Morgan just gets super uncomfortable by this. She's like, "Oh, get away from me, you creep!" And
there's a 71-year-old man. He walks past Victoria's Secret. He's like, "Puppies!" And then legit, as soon as like mall security alarm bells go off, Drew McIntyre's like, "Jerry Lawler, get out of me more. Don't say that next to Victoria's Secret, you old man. Get the hell out of Victoria's Secret, you creep." So then Drew proceeds to beat up a 71-year-old man. And like Jerry Lawler, he's all out of it. He barely knows where he is. Jerry Lawler's like stumbling. He's stumbling. He goes into the food court. And then he stumbles into the WWE Japanese restaurant. Okay, Jerry Lawler, he collapses on the ground. And then Akira Tozawa comes over. And Akira Tozawa's like, "How may I help you?" And Jerry Lawler goes, "Ramen noodle moonsault." Then he just collapses. Okay. That's legit. Jerry Lawler from here. Stephanie McMahon, she's rushed out from her like security bunker. She's like freaking out. She's calling like the police, saying, "Oh, arrest him now!" She's like screaming. Your Triple H being like, "Ooh, Stephanie, ooh, calm down, ooh." Vince McMahon like being called on the phone, being like, "Vince, ooh, Jerry Lawler, ooh." And Vince McMahon's like, "Oh, damn it, pal! My WWE superstars are not always like Jerry Lawler, like WWE." And then Vince is half asleep. This humongous scandal like midnight at Victoria's Secret, Kevin. My God.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that happens. There's so much stuff that happens at this Victoria's Secret. I mean, back in the day, like 6 or 7 years ago, Paige used to work there, and there was this incident where her and Natalia, they like made out, and like some people saw this. And so they went to BuzzFeed, they went to Sami Zayn, reported it. Sami Zayn and Ali are interviewing Paige. And Paige is like, "I don't care," telling them off, "I embrace who I am. This is who I am. If you don't like it, deal with it." Whatever.
Yeah, literally, you got Lee asking Paige questions in these exclusive interviews like, how do you feel your representation is to young girls out there who may want to identify as LGBT, may want to identify as... Do you feel like you're presenting a negative representation to all these young girls, and you're perhaps turning them off, announcing their sexuality? And then Paige is like, huh? Like, I licked Natalia, and this is the question you give me? Like, bruh.
Yeah,
bruh.
Exactly. Paige goes on to be this Twitch streamer turned model. She's like this big time model. She's a star e-girl. She's a star e-girl who all the simps that go to Adam Cole's video game store love to watch when they get home, and they love to watch on Twitch. They love to donate their money to. They're all tier 3s on Paige's Twitch, which I guess that leads us seamlessly into Adam Cole's. Wait, I got something more on Paige. So Vince brings in Paige to do like this, this big video game launch. Like they have the launch of the new Call of Duty or something, and you have Paige in there. They got couches set up. You got Paige and this whole thing where like you get to play Call of Duty with Paige, and this it is what it is. And then you have this just like incident where Paige is playing video games, and then the Undertaker walks in, and the Undertaker's just like, ugh, this is what he's talking to Vince. He's like, oh, this is what this mall has become. You have all these kids playing video games with Paige. He's just so mad. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so legit, you've got, this game store. It's run by Adam Cole. It's run by Kyle O'Reilly. You've got Bobby Fish in there. You've got Roderick Strong. These guys, they're just, every time there's a new release for a video game, for like Final Fantasy, Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, you name it. There's a game release. These guys are just literally fanboying over these games. They're freaking out. They've all got their like limited edition, collector's edition t-shirts with like the Final Fantasy characters on there. You've got Adam Cole, who knows everything about video games. One day, The Undertaker, he was literally responsible for building the mall. He owns a construction firm who's responsible for like building, and most of the city has been built by The Undertaker. Undertaker, he's got like one hip. He's got like a fractured eye socket. He can barely walk. He's got the worst arthritis you've ever like seen or heard of. He's hobbling. He's got like a walking stick. He's like 65. His son's like 14. All his son wants to do is just buy a video game for Christmas. So Undertaker, Mark Calloway, he's hobbling. His son goes, well, Dad, you can take the escalator if you want. Undertaker goes, real men don't take the escalator. So Undertaker proceeds to hobble up the stairs. He's like breaking himself. His arthritis is the worst it's ever been. Hands are clicking. His back is about to give out. He makes his way up the stairs. He's hobbling over to Adam Cole's video game store. Adam Cole goes, hello, sir. How may I help you? And Undertaker goes, I hate humanity. And his son's literally like, can I please have the Final Fantasy 3 game? I heard there's a special edition available here. And Undertaker's just listening to this. One eye socket. He's hunched over. He's about to die. And then Undertaker just has cardiac arrest in the middle of the store. And he's carried out by just, the doctors. And an ambulance comes. Undertaker dies in the middle of Adam Cole's store. Adam Cole, selling his son a limited edition version of Final Fantasy, literally kills the Undertaker, and Undertaker gets carried out, and his spirit just goes into hell, and it's just, it's just Undertaker, he lives his gimmick. Okay, Undertaker becomes the demon of Death Valley because of his son. It's long-term storytelling.
Yeah, it's long-term storytelling, pal. Yeah, I mean, at this GameStop, you have, like you said, these guys, they're wearing, like, their limited edition shirts. People come in there, and, like it doesn't matter who it is, women, dudes, whoever. Especially when it's women, they try to act all cool, like they know everything about video games. Like, Adam Cole will start telling this hot chick every single minute detail about Red Dead Redemption, and this girl's like, I don't care, I'm trying to buy something for my boyfriend. Like, I just need a gift, And you have like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. They just go in excruciating detail about the pre-order exclusives, the different deluxe edition exclusives, about every single game. You can imagine what kind of place this is. But yeah, so what else we got here, pal?
I mean, we've covered a lot, Kevin. We really have. I think as far as this goes, what's something that we haven't gone into detail on that really does, because we covered upwards of 10 different like big scenes. I think one I want to mention, Kevin Owens runs a donut shop. I think that's worth mentioning. Kevin Owens, he's the face of the donut franchise. He owns the Donut King. Okay, Dunkin's Donuts. Kevin Owens owns like a chain of donut stores. His lead employees are Charisma Vacuums, like Byron Saxton, Tom Phillips, and Vic Joseph. They're like the lead employees of the donut stores. Kevin Owens by comparison, seems like a charisma machine. So yeah, that's the Giant stores. As far as other stores,
we have Otis. We have Otis who works at like the playground, the mall playground. You know, he's hanging out with all the kids. He's like, you know, everybody loves him. He's a great guy. You know, he's that one guy that's just great with kids, great to work with. You know,
Yep. You've got legit Retribution. That this is this group of wannabe thugs. One time they attempted to rob, you know, the Flair family jewelry store. They tried to you know, hold up Charlotte. Then Charlotte beat all of them up like easily, and then legit they all scurried away. Drew McIntyre proceeded to carry like all four of them on his back at once, chuck them in the back of a van, and just they got deported. So legit, that was Retribution. As far as other people, what about AJ Styles and Omos?
Oh yeah, damn, what do they do? I forgot. AJ Styles and Omos.
Yeah, so basically, AJ Styles is like the mechanic. He like runs a car brand, a car store. He fixes other people's cars. He's like a handyman, jack of all trades. Everyone loves AJ. He gets on well with people because he's fixed everyone's car in like the region. Omos, he's just like, I mean, what's Omos? You know, like.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy. He hangs out with AJ. He's just there. You know, he's just there doing car stuff.
He's a trainee. He's a trainee who like everyone thinks is gonna be like really good one day.
Yeah.
He's just learning the basics now.
Yeah, AJ's getting him ready to take over the firm when he retires.
Legit. And yeah, and then the last one I think we really need to do. What about Seth Rollins, Kevin?
No, wait. Before Seth Rollins, we got one more. We got Cesaro. Cesaro works at a kiosk just selling like iPhone cases, laptop chargers, stuff like that. And people are walking by. They're like, "Oh, hey man, how much is that iPhone case?" And Cesaro's just like goes on and on about how this case is imported from overseas. It's the finest iPhone case. He shows demos like he puts the case in his phone and he throws his phone across into a wall to show that his phone won't break. And people are just like, I just want to know the price, man. Like, that's all. I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to waste your time. And he just, you know, but nobody can understand him though. Like he talks for 20 minutes and then people leave and they're like, wait, what did that guy even say? Like, did he even tell us the price? Like, what was the point of that? You know, and then you have Seth Rollins. He works at a kiosk. He's selling like Ponzi schemes. He's selling like cruise or something like jewelry schemes, something like that. You know, he works at his kiosk. He stops people. He's very charismatic, almost cult-like, you could say. And he talks to people. He gets them to buy this stuff. And then one day, you know, Becky Lynch is on lunch.
Yeah, legit. They've got this whole thing. Becky Lynch, she's like, you know, finished her bartending shift. She's on break, and then she sees Seth Rollins, and then they make eye contact, and then within literally a week, you've got legit Seth Rollins who's doing what? Seth Rollins is wearing man's man shirts, Kevin. Like, bruh.
Yeah, I know. He's wearing these man's man shirts. You know, he's simping over Becky Lynch. He's going to the bar that she works at, just dropping her off like lunch. You know, Chick-fil-A, salads, and that's like his odd way of trying to show that he's interested in her. And then all of a sudden they're just married, you know. Yep.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much everyone, Kevin.
Yeah, I would say that we pretty much hit the nail on the head, bro. That's what WWE or what wrestling would look like if it was a mall, I would say.
Wow. Well, that's been quite the episode. Wow. I've been here a little while. It's been good fun. A couple of scandals, a couple of scenarios, bit of social commentary for you. So, yeah, any closing words?
No, that's it. We'll talk to you guys next week. We might have a wrestler bio or, you know, a preview. We'll see what we're going to do next week. But we'll talk to you guys then.
Peace.